Dear Busconians and our dear lay missioners, and everyone who is listening, especially the members of the Salesian family also. Uh, Today the school returns to its regular operations to the synchronous mode of instruction after the typhoon that we've had last week and the days that we did not have any classes. Today is the Monday in the 33rd week of ordinary time. And the gospel reading speaks about healing. I'd like to focus, since this is the line of thinking that we have right now, since this is the theme of the gospel, the healing of the blind man. I'd like to turn you to something of a Salesian experience, the experience of Don Bosco, that a blind girl was healed through him. And I've been looking at the internet, and I saw this episode in the life of Don Bosco recounted by Patricia Trees in her website. And it is entitled "The Many Miracles of Don Bosco." You know, just prior to this, I have given good morning talks about the communion of saints, and that we can pray through their intercession in order to receive favors from the Lord, even miracles. And God works through them, even as they have already passed through this life, now that they are together with Him. But even in this life, when they were still alive, God has worked through many of them. And one of these saints is Don Bosco himself, Saint John Bosco. And we see here in this article about the healing of this blind girl. So it occurred in 1870, May 16, and that is the evening of the Pentecost. And it was at the Church of Mary Help of Christians in Turin, the one that Don Bosco built. And we know that that's now the Basilica of Mary Help of Christians. So what happened here? Maria Stardero, a blind girl of 10 or 12, was led by her aunt into the church. You see there a rendition of it on the screen. And in the church, there were dozens of boys who were standing about or kneeling in prayer. Father Francis Dalmazzo, one of the first Salesians, spoke to the woman. In his testimony, he later recalled, "I was grieved to see that the young girl's eyes had no corneas and resembled white marbles." When Don Bosco arrived, he questioned the girl about her condition. She had not been born blind, but as a result of eye disease, her sight had been completely lost 2 years earlier. When he asked about medical treatment, the aunt began to sob that they had tried everything, but the doctors could only say that the eyes were beyond hope. "Can you tell whether things are big or small?" the saint asked. "I can't see a thing." He led her to a window. "Could she perceive light?" "Not at all." "Would you like to see?" "Oh yes, it's the only thing I want." And she began to sob about how miserable she was. "Will you use your eyes for the good of your soul and not to offend God?" "I promise I will with all my heart." "Good. You will regain your sight." The man. With a few sentences, he encouraged the visitors to have faith in the intercession of Mary. With them, he recited a Hail Mary and another prayer to Mary, the Hail Holy Queen. Then, urging them to have absolute trust in the prayers of the Mother of Christ, he blessed the girl. After that, he held a medal of Mary Help of Christians in front of her and asked, "For the glory of God and the Blessed Virgin, tell me what I'm holding in my hand." "She can't," the elderly aunt began, but Don Bosco paid no heed, while the girl, after a few seconds, shouted, "I see." Immediately, she described the detailing of the medal. When she stretched out her hand to receive it, however, it rolled into a dim corner. The aunt moved to retrieve it, but Don Bosco motioned her back. Let her pick it up to see if the Blessed Virgin has thoroughly restored her sight, he insisted. Unerringly, the girl bent into the shadows and picked up the tiny object. As the many witnesses looked on, awed and profoundly moved, Maria, beside herself with joy, bolted for home while her aunt thanked Don Bosco profusely with sobs now of joy. If Maria Stardero was so wild with joy, she forgot to even thank the one whose prayer obtained her cure. She returned soon afterward to make her small donation to his work and offer thanks. And 46 years later, in 1916, when some Salesians checked on her, she still had perfect vision. Graces and favors through our Blessed Mother, done by Don Bosco. And we thank the Lord for having given us this grace of St. John Bosco as our father and teacher. You know, there's still many other stories. It's always one thing that I am asked, Father, can you tell me some episodes from Don Bosco's life? It is one thing that I also enjoyed as a little boy, such that I was for a long time looking for a book on Don Bosco in order that I may recount it there at the young age when I was an elementary boy in Don Bosco, Tarlac. And this is just one of the episodes in the life of St. John Bosco. Something that I'd like our Bosconians to think about, to know more and more about Don Bosco, or to get a book about a saint and know the lives of these saints we have. So it's not of saints, but we know what their lives are. We are familiar with what happened, how they have become saints, as how we call them now. So I'd like also to make these announcements for donations in our relief efforts for those who are suffering, who have been adversely affected by the typhoons that have passed us by, in particular Rolly and Ulysses. There have been many who have donated in form of GCash, and I think through the banks, and we thank them. May God bless you, bless your souls, your families, and we're still open to that. No? In fact, the first batch of goods that you have donated, we have already given them through Don Bosco Makati, who have organized these also relief efforts. That will be these goods that you have given will be brought to Isabela and Cagayan. Okay, so through Don Bosco Makati. And as I told you yesterday, the cash donations will be donated directly to the people there in Cagayan through our lay mission partner, our Assistant Principal for Academic Affairs for Grade School, Ma'am Joyce Bakuyag, who is there now in Cagayan. Okay, and then a continuous reminder also, we've gone through more than half of the month of November, and we continue to pray for the souls of your loved ones who have gone ahead of us. And the daily Mass continues. Here in our community of Don Bosco College, taking turns in presiding over the Mass. And please do join us in those times, because we have set that time after the Gospel to give our reflections. They would also be good reflections for every one of us. And I'd like to wish you all a good day, and may God bless us all.